So Terry, I'm going to, I know you're a very humble person, a lot of humility, very beloved here by a lot of people in Montreal, and I think one of the keys to your success has been you're real. You're not a slick, glossy corporate product.
No.
What do you think the secrets are that have led you to the success you've had here in Montreal? Because there have been very few people in recent radio history to achieve what you've achieved.
First of all, thanks for that. I don't know. It's one of those things that you don't really want to think about it too much. You don't want to look into it too much because you don't want to overthink it and you don't want to really discover it. You know what? I think, Jamie, the key has been, and I've said this before to people, the key to this was my upbringing. I really credit my mom and dad for it, who live in Cornwall. And we were raised to respect other people and treat people the way we wanted to be treated, and doesn't make you your lot in life doesn't make you special or better than anybody. And I've always thought that my dad worked in a very tough job for 30 years that he wasn't crazy about, and I've got to do something that I've loved. I still can't believe they pay me to do it. So I think that the fact that I've never lost the wonder of that, I still, after 30 years almost, when I sit behind the microphone at 5:30, I still get a chill and a thrill from it. I still get butterflies. I still think I'm lucky. I still think I'm lucky to do something I love to do. And I'm thrilled when people come up to you and tell you that they like what you do. If you're a person who, is a chef and people say, wow, that was the best meal I ever had, it's that kind of thing. People come and they say to you, boy, I really enjoyed what you did this morning. You made me laugh, or you made me cry, whatever. And I think part of the success is that I'm grounded because of my background and how I was brought up. And I think that's what people relate to. And I think that part of I was never one of these guys. I just always wanted to be myself. You saw it this morning. I talked to you, and then I'd stop and I'd turn on the microphone, and then I would talk, and then I'd turn the microphone off, and then I'd talk. I mean, it's kind of an exaggerated version of me, but it's me, and I am who I am because of my mom and dad.
So what do you tell young people that come up to you and say, geez, I love your job, and when I grow up I want to work in radio just like you?
Well, I tell them that that's what they should pursue. Ever since, a lot of people say, oh, there's no security in it, and, with internet radio and everything, there's not going to be radio stations anymore. I think that, I've been listening to the stories about the demise of radio for years. In the 70s when I started, when cassettes came out, that was going to be the end of radio because you could record albums. I was around when MTV arrived and they played the video, Killed the Radio Star, and that was going to be the end of radio.
That was a great video.
Yeah, it was a great video, but it wasn't the end of radio. And same with the CD, and same with, I remember when satellite was coming to Canada, and a buddy of mine said to me, oh my God, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? So I'm just going to keep doing what I do. And he said, well, no, satellite radio is going to be the end of terrestrial radio, and that didn't happen. So I tell kids that that if they want to do it, they should get into it for the right reasons and understand that the key behind it is the communication of it. It's not to get into it for, the free concert tickets and, so people will recognize your name. It's about communicating, connecting with people and telling a story. I still think the medium, that's its biggest bullet in its gun. It's the only medium that can keep you company between Brockville and Cornwall on a cold, dark night on the 401. You punch up the radio and you got a friend with you.
And while you're at work.
Exactly, yeah, exactly.
What did you miss most while you're in Calgary about Montreal?
Mostly family. My family and friends, mostly. I moved when I was just turning 50. And one of the things I learned is it's a lot harder to make friends and get a support system built when you're 50 than it is when you're 25 or 30. I also learned that, there's, if Montrealers will understand this, when I left, I was pissing and moaning about the plot holes and the high taxes and the corruption, the politics, and and all of the stuff that Montrealers get together with and ache and moan about. And then you leave it, and suddenly you realize it's part of who you are. I mean, English or French, if you're born in Quebec, it gets in your blood. And I would imagine, same thing if you're from BC or Newfoundland. But at the end of the day, I realized when I was in Alberta, je suis Québécois. I'm a Quebecer. This is my home. This is where I was born and raised. I get off the plane in Dorval, and I feel at home instantly, because it is home.
Yeah.
So I miss that vibe. I miss the rhythm of the city. I miss the food. I miss my family, my friends. I missed a lot of things.
What do you think's changed the most in Montreal over the last 20 or 30 years?
That's a great question. I mean, obviously, the shrinking population of the English community is the biggest thing for me, because I grew up at a time when there was a lot of English people still here, and I mean, there's still a strong English community here, but it's not like it was in 1970. So I guess that's the change, and I also hope, and I think that with new generations coming in. We're always going to argue about language and politics, but with new generations coming in, there seems to be it's an easier blend of the two cultures. It's how the country was built, right?
Is it becoming less political?
I don't think it's ever going to become less political. I think long after we're gone, everybody's going to still be arguing about it.
Yeah.
But with the new generation, you sit in places, and people understand this who come to Montreal. You try and practice your French with a clerk who wants to practice his English, and so you're speaking French to me, switching back to English. There's less animosity over it, and even like just last weekend there was that protest about the unilingual Canadians coach, and everybody made a big deal of it. But there were 200 people there. 200 people in a city of 3.5 million.
Yeah, I think that was a media thing more than anything
Absolutely, yeah. So I think that's been a nice change.
Okay, we're going to wrap up really shortly.
Sure.
1984, a very prophetic year, was your first year on the radio here in Montreal at CHOM. I have a list of the top 100 songs of 1984. You want to care to guess a few?
Not
or should
all
I frighten
100. 1984. Well, there would have been Van Halen.
Jump, yeah. Number
Jump,
3 on the list.
Jump would have been there.
Like a Virgin by Madonna.
Oh my gosh.
Not a big CHOM hit.
Yeah. Was Dire Straits there yet? Not quite. I think they were 86.
I see Prince When Doves Cry, who gives a heck of a good concert.
Yeah, great artist.
You've got Owner of a Lonely Heart by Yes.
Yes, yeah, 90125. Great album. Great album. Yeah.
Great album.
Yeah.
Footloose by Kenny Loggins.
Yeah.
And Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
They did a lot of coke in the 80s, didn't they? Out of Touch, Hall & Oates.
Yeah.
Paul McCartney and Michael Jackson teaming up, Say, Say, Say.
A lot more poppy decade.
Yeah. Time After Time, Cyndi Lauper.
Yeah.
Duran Duran.
Is there any rock on that at all?
Bruce Springsteen, Dancing in the Dark.
Oh, there you go. That was a big record that summer.
I didn't like that album.
It was a big hit for him.
Yeah, and there's a lot of pop. There wasn't.
Yeah.
It was not a huge. I mean, it was all that. It was hair time. Big hair and
the big hair time in the world. Yeah.
Terry, thank you very much for your time, and good luck back
pleasure.
on show.
Thank you so much, Jamie. I appreciate your time. Thanks.
All right.